Recording is live at 3, 2, 1. Start, select, connect. Welcome, Internet, to another episode of this fine podcast. My name is WarBot-NIX. I am your personal neural interface Zenlock AI, here to help hopefully save humanity. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to my co-host. Introduce yourselves real quick.
I guess
Mind if I go first?
okay. Sure.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Azure Sandora, your mistress of darkness.
And for me, it's EternumBlaze. Blaze on, folks. Let's keep going. Stay hot.
All right. Well, I hope everyone had a first month and got through the New Year's. So last episode we talked about the Switch 2 and a lot of other things going on in the wild. So today is going to be more of a personal chit chat, get to know us a little bit better. Given that there isn't a whole lot of good things coming out of the game industry, such as the talk about raising the price of video games again from $70 to $60 and $50 to $60, which is
This time it's not my fault that bad things are happening.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Also, Multiverse is shutting down, and it looks like Battlefield's trying to get its legs back again. We'll see how that goes with Battlefield Labs, and that was actually just revealed today before this recording. So, best wishes. Hopefully, they find their footing again, because 2042 was a mess. So I do want to kick things off with our icebreaker, and that is, what game you want to see to be a remake? You know what? I want to start with EternumBlaze. What game or games you want to see remade to current gen?
Yeah, definitely for me. I would say my number one game that I'm looking forward to having a remake for, and I actually heard rumors that this was already in the works, but this has been one I've been absolutely asking for years, and that is Skies of Arcadia. I've been looking forward to that game having a remake for so long, and I'm so happy they announced that. I believe it is going to be getting a remake sometime in the near future, or at least I know I've heard rumors about it. But that has been like absolutely my number one of all time that I've been wanting a remake for, and it really does sound like they are going to it's either going to be a remake or a remaster. But definitely, I would love a remake of that. Even if it's just a remaster, I'd be happy. But that is the number one game I've been asking for ever since it came out. Like a few years after it came out, like I was like, not even a few years, but like a while after it came out, I said, if there's one game when the remakes became a thing that I would love to see remade, Skies of Arcadia, without a doubt. In fact,
If they do remake Skies of Arcadia, they better get Venus proportions right, because I remember he had quite the body.
Yeah, it's pixelated.
Okay, seriously, what did I miss out on?
The
I have not played Skies of Arcadia.
Bro.
Oh my
And I know for a
God.
fact you told me about it years ago at a pizza parlor.
That game is one of, when it came out on the Sega Dreamcast originally, it was one of the best games on the Dreamcast, and then they made it even better when they ported it over to Nintendo GameCube. It's probably right up there, in my opinion, with one of my favorite JRPGs, which I'm probably going to talk about later anyway.
Gotcha.
1000%.
Yeah, but that one, you missed out. You need
Really.
to try to play that game at
I'm so
some
sorry.
point.
It's a classic, man. It is like it's one of my top 5 favorite games of all time. Like legitimately, it's so good.
It
Okay.
was made during an era where being a pirate could
Mhm.
actually still be seen as fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
If the remake does come out, I'll definitely take a look at it. Um, yeah. And yeah, it seems like it is a good time for a lot of remakes, like with Capcom knocking it out of the park with all the Resident Evil games, and Final Fantasy VII actually just released Part 2 of Final Fantasy VII Remake. So Rebirth is on PC now. So looking forward to that. EternumBlaze, you have one more game, or is it, or did you have, or is that the only one so far?
Um, Other than that, I mean, I would probably there's a few games that I really enjoyed from the past. I mean, most of them have already been remade, like Final Fantasy VII. But um, uh, I think the only other one that I think I would like a remake of, that I think would be really, really amazing, would be Tales of Symphonia.
Well, they've already remastered it, and I don't feel like they need to.
Uh,
The charm of it, the way it is right now, I feel is fine.
yeah, I mean,
Kind of, I
That could be
kind of
me.
agree.
it is a classic. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I honestly, like I said, it's like the only other one I can think of right off the top of my head that I would definitely say I would love to see be basically an excuse to play it again.
Yeah. Gotcha. Well, hopefully Bandai actually gets porting correctly for once on PC, because I really don't want to buy like another PlayStation or something. Yeah. All right. Well, Sandora, do you
All
have a
right,
game that you have in mind for a remake?
two actually.
All right. Let's hear it.
Both of them are JRPGs.
I can
First
see where this
one,
is going.
first one. Since Final Fantasy VII's already gotten a really good remake, I would love to see a remake of Final Fantasy VI.
Ooh,
Hmm.
that would actually be
Funny
interesting.
enough, while it's not in my top remake request, I kind of want 8 with Squall.
Ooh, that is a good
Well, would
one.
be good
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that music is still good
it
today.
is.
So, and fu- yeah, but continue, Sandora. We'll get into it later.
So yeah, the reason why I would say Final Fantasy VI, for one, it's legit one of the best ones. I'd argue it's actually just as good, if not a little better than Final Fantasy VII. I know, blasphemous, burn me at the stake. I don't fucking care.
I
No,
actually still haven't played six, as terrible as that is to say, but
Get
and
out.
I mean, and there's also people that claim that Final Fantasy 9 was the superior one. There is that community out there.
they, I mean, they must be. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything.
No, don't worry.
Again, I haven't
I
played
haven't
it.
played 9 either, but
Yeah.
I've talked to enough people that go like 9 was awesome.
Nine's
That's
pretty
fair.
good.
That's
Nine is
fair.
pretty good, but
Yeah.
yeah, in my opinion, Final Fantasy VI is one of the best ones, if not the best one of the original line. Um, and it has easily my favorite Final Fantasy character of all time, that being Celis, and the other being my favorite Final Fantasy villain of all time, that being Kefka. I would love to see Kefka fully voiced in 3D.
Oh
I think
man,
he was voiced in Dissidia.
I was gonna
I
say Dissidia. Yeah.
I should play Dissidia. I've not played that, but I should play it, if only because I'm curious to know if the voice they gave Kefka is the voice that I would have given Kefka.
I
Yeah.
listened to Oh man, it's been a hot minute since I played it. But I remember like Kefka's both English and Japanese was pretty intimidating. So
Good.
I'd
Very good.
say, I'd say, in my opinion, if I remember correctly, they did it right.
All
So
right.
yeah,
I was I was just thinking like right off the top of my head who would make a good voice actor for him, or at the very least who would because I'm thinking like I said I've never played the game, but I'm assuming he has like an evil laugh, right? Every
yeah,
good villain has an evil laugh.
yeah.
I
Very,
was
it's very cackly.
I would
He is basically the Joker in Final Fantasy.
I say yeah I was gonna say who in my immediate thought has the best laugh of an evil villain that I've heard recently in video games.
Mark
And
Hamill.
well, yes, I don't disagree with that. That is true. But besides him, I'm thinking of the only other character who's been in like kind of like an anime type setting like that. And the number one I was thinking of, I don't remember what what his voice is, but whoever the voice actor is for what's his name? Hazama from Blaze. I believe it's Hazama from Blaze Blue.
Oh,
Hazama.
Hazama. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like holy crud! I think that laugh, like his evil laugh, was just so. If it, at least for the English dub, was so perfect. Like so maniacally evil sounding.
Well, I
Like
think well, which one? He had two. I think in like Continuum Shift, Continuum Shift, either Continuum Shift or the one after that, where like they had to have another voice actor, but for like combat, they kept the old voice actor.
that's weird, but
Yeah, because they did have a voice actor change for Hazama. But actually, to answer your question, who voiced Kefka in Dissidia is Dave Wittenberg.
Dave Wittenberg. I'm not familiar with him.
He did. Let me just jump to him. Let me yada 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 behind the voice actors. Dave, and then, oh my god. Funny enough, we were talking about Kefka. So at the time of recording, it is currently February 3rd. Guess whose birthday it is?
Who's?
I believe it is. I just want to double check. Yes, Shigeru Chiba. His date of birth is February 4th. Technically, that is February 4th for Japan. But his Japanese voice actor from Kefka, he voiced. I remember he voiced several characters that I remember. So he's Professor Hojo in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Hojo.
But if I am making sure I'm correct, he is Sebas from Overlord.
Okay.
Oh, another evil clown character. Buggy from
Let me see. Where is it? Sebas. Oh my god, I remember him from another anime. Sebas again. Raditz. Kefka again. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I remember it. I am totally not gonna take up the full hour trying to find it.
I would certainly hope not, because I still have one more remake to mention.
Yeah, go ahead and I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Alright.
Oh, found it. He was Don Kanonji from Bleach.
From Bleach.
That was what I remembered him from.
Oh my god.
So I don't know why it took me forever to find that one.
Oh man.
So, all right. Oh yeah, he was also Megatron from Transformers Cyberverse.
Megatron.
Yeah. All right. We're done. But yeah, what was the second one?
Dave Wittenberg. Oh yeah, and yeah.
If I may.
Mm-hmm.
My second remake, Legend of Dragoon.
Oh, that's the oh my god. What was it? The Vash? Or what's his name? The kid with the lightning too, right? No, or am I thinking of an entirely different game?
you're thinking of an entirely different game.
Oh
This game
my
came out
god.
on the PlayStation around the time Final Fantasy VII was a big thing,
Oh,
and
mhm.
it literally got criticized for being, and I quote, too much like Final Fantasy VII,
Oh
Huh.
gosh.
which it's like that's the game everyone should want to be like. Why are we criticizing the game for succeeding?
Crazy.
Huh.
But
But
oh,
yeah, that game, it has a very interesting combat system. Admittedly, the localization is kind of meh,
mm,
but it's the best way I can describe it. It's Final Fantasy VII meets Power Rangers.
You know what?
I
Now
wish
that
I
you
was
wow.
describe it that
joking.
way, yeah, okay. I think I know what it is. Again, it's another game I've never played. I am so sorry, guys.
Uh,
It's
I was
okay, I
actually
won't curse you this time.
Okay.
yeah, but I was thinking of what was it? I think Lunar, that game Lunar. I think that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Star Seeker Saga. You know the one, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. It was like a kid who was like had lightning powers. He's like my favorite character in that. He was like arrogant, but he was like so cool at the same time.
Gotcha. All right.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, I feel bad for not playing any of those games. I am so sorry.
You can make it
but
up to me.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me at least give you a slight makeup. So Dave Wittenberg, just rolling back to that, he was the original voice for Teddy from Persona 4, 2008 game. He's
Oh,
also
wow.
Kakashi from Naruto,
gosh.
and
I remember that.
and he's also Welkin Gunther from Valkyrie Chronicles. If anyone remembers that great game,
Wasn't
so
curious.
I
I played
remember
Valkyria
it.
Chronicles myself, but I definitely have heard of it.
yep. So yeah, Kakashi was Kefka.
That is
So
wild.
and also he
That
was
is,
Teddy.
that is
And he
ultra
was also commander
wild.
of the 7th Squad in Valkyrie Chronicles. So, pretty cool.
He was also one of those prinnies. Oh my god, dude.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So,
Dude.
WarBot-NIX, what about you?
Well, I don't know if you've ever heard of this little title back in the day. Golden Sun Wen? Like,
Oh.
we've been teased Golden Sun a few times by Nintendo, unfortunately, in the Super Smash Bros. Games, with Isaac doing the move.
Yeah.
But Golden Sun was a game I could play over and over again and not get bored. The music on GBA, especially the fight versus Satiros, freaking top notch. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to see that game given like a more updated treatment, like music level to like the new Advance Wars reboot. The like okay, as unfortunately that game didn't do so well, but the music was great. I loved it. So
I see.
um I want to see Golden Sun and Golden Sun Lost Age remade and just put into one game, or at least
Please.
it was really okay. The whole entire like trying to transfer the GBA save file for some odd reason never worked for me.
Really?
Really?
I don't know why. It just didn't work. Back in the day, I was too dumb for that. So maybe not. Or I just got too lazy. Either way, but Golden Sun was one of those games where like I love the music. It was a great classic JRPG. The story was simple enough, but also like it's just one of those classical anime style like plots as well. and a very standard also JRPG too. Like basically do the dungeons, climb these towers, get to them, and then of course like the funny thing enough, the twist of the entire story happened at the end of Golden Sun, and then it just continues in Golden Sun Lost Age.
Huh.
Yeah.
Because you didn't realize like what you were trying to stop is trying to stop like the revitalization of the world. And we didn't learn about it. We didn't know the world was dying, spoilers, until Lost Age.
Dang.
And you see, it's really interesting too, because I actually do have the third Golden Sun game, Dark Dawn, and it's really interesting how in that game you actually get to see the characters from the original Golden Sun games as adults, and they are not hailed as heroes. They are actually hailed as as people who led to the world's destruction because they brought back alchemy, which is this super destructive force within the world.
Holy crud! You were
I think that's why like I was turned off by the third game. I was like, well, there goes all my efforts for the last like 5 years.
Gee.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, I'll be honest, from a storytelling standpoint, I like that they did that because it shows the reality of the scenario that yeah, what you did was right, but that doesn't necessarily mean the people are going to be happy about it because one thing that I even remember because I have actually started playing the Golden Sun games on my Nintendo Switch, a lot of the people are perfectly fine living in the world as it is because it's convenient.
Says a
So
lot about our current world.
Exactly. So let's say, for example, taking the issues with the current world as it is, a lot of it is due to things that people view as convenient. In order to quote unquote save the world, a lot of those conveniences would have to go away. Sure, the world in and of itself is in a better state, it's in a better place, but I imagine the people who worked hard to save the world, they're not going to be thanked. The general populace is going to look at them as destroyers because the very society that they've built up has been uprooted.
That is
People
true.
don't like change. So even though it is kind of sad to see that yeah, all of your efforts and the last two games are not being hailed for the heroic deeds that they were, it is scarily realistic to how things would be.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, like
I'd still be pissed though.
I mean, yeah,
yeah.
definitely be mad about it. I'm not saying that it's a good thing or anything, but it's the reality of it. And I like it when JRPGs go that route of showing that realism.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's true. Fair. Yeah. But overall though, I do want at least the first two games remastered. Or at least, well, not remastered, sorry. Remade, revamped in any way or form. And try to keep the spirit of it too. So
Absolutely.
yeah. Like one of my favorite characters also, like one of my favorite things was also like trying to like find the Djinns all over the place. It's like, I am missing an Earth Djinn, and it's somewhere around here.
I'm not leaving this place until I
Alright,
find
that's it. Blaze, get me the game. Get me the freaking Prima guide. If everyone remembers those things.
I'll get you Game Facts online. Here we go.
Is that okay? Hold on. Is Game Facts still a thing?
Yes, it is.
Oh my. Yep. All right. Game Facts it is. Oh my god. All right. I want to move on to my last game, and then I see where we're all going to be coming from as gamers, based off of what we've been talking about. The next game I actually do want to see remastered is Valkyrie Profile 2.
Oh. Why
That-
2 specifically?
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't know why, but I feel like the way that 1 is done, and it's actually you can actually play 1 on your mobile devices perfectly fine. 100%. Yeah, it's been released, I believe, on Apple and Google. And literally it is I think the full first game, and you just pay once, no microtransactions.
Wow.
But the reason why I loved 2 was that basically it was first of all, the world is great. I loved every character, including Alicia, because she started off as like this very naive, very shut-in princess that was isolated forcibly by her father, but we found out that there was a good reason for it. Also, I had a crush on Somaria for a little bit. Just a little.
That's fair.
Just a little.
Just a little.
Yeah. Also, the combat system. So Tri-Ace, if I remember correctly, Tri-Ace and the Tales of yeah, I think it was by Tri-Ace. Yeah, I believe the Tales of Studio and Tri-Ace used to be, I think, together at one point, and then they broke off, and Tri-Ace started doing their own variation on their own like fighting systems. So I believe they're also the ones that did Star Ocean, which also had like a real-time like combat system. But the combat in this one is basically when you make a move, the enemies make a move, and then basically it comes down to who can fire the initial hit to start the attack combos. And it was so awesome trying to time combo attacks with your character builds.
I actually remember that myself.
Yeah.
I never got very far in the second one, but the combat system was always my favorite, along with the combat with the battle music. That music is still stuck in my head.
That music was fire. I loved it. I even still listen it to today. Yeah, so it was great. And then like it was also a blast of nostalgia to hear Valkyrie Profile 1's combat music come back sometimes, because I believe I believe after you do New Game Plus, if you hold a certain button, it switches over to Valkyrie Profile 1's combat theme, I believe, but only after a certain point. So yeah, it was just awesome. Like, even though you only get to use them like for a brief time, you could have Lenneth, Hrist, Silmeria, and Alicia all in the same like party, and just like I can no longer pronounce it.
Nibelung Valesti.
1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, the combo meter cannot go further, so you can't do a fourth. Yeah, but so that's what Rufus is for, to like just basically just add on the combo meter for the third one, and then you can do a fourth, like Divine Assault. So yeah, I want to see that game remastered. In fact, some of the cutscenes, honestly, you could probably just bring it up; it'll still be good today. But the character models and the world could use a spruce up, because when I tried playing, I actually connected the PS2 to a 4K television. It did not go well.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like, put it back to a smaller screen. Put it back to a smaller screen. All I see is pixels.
It's not used to it.
Yeah. Although I did hook it up to a Sony television that had that weird like upscaling chip. It actually looked a lot better.
Oh.
So yeah. So yeah, like that's a game I would. Those are my two games. Golden Sun, and Golden Sun. That little like collection of GBA and Baku Profile 2.
I'd say those are very solid choices.
I was gonna say based.
Yeah. And that takes us to our main topic. Like, what got us into gaming? So, I think I'll start this time. So
Yeah.
I started with, of course, the Nintendo. I did start with the Nintendo NES, but I really didn't like really get into gaming. I think as a kid until Super Nintendo, and I loved Super Nintendo. I still have the original Super Nintendo. It is still working.
What?
Yes,
You have wow.
it still
That
works.
thing's ancient.
It's ancient and it works and it's perfect.
That is
And
That's
amazing.
beautiful.
I still play Gradius 3 today.
Nice.
I am very sad though, the Super Mario World cartridge doesn't work anymore. No matter how many times I blow into that cartridge, it's not working. I'm like, it's done. Yeah.
Unfortunate.
I also have Battletoads Double Dragons still there, and a couple other games as well still in their cartridges, still work to the best of my knowledge. So I got into like sci-fi games mostly and platformers at the beginning, like shoot 'em ups. And eventually when I got into more modern games, I was actually a combination of almost a lot of genres. So shooters, so in 64 I played GoldenEye, but I always enjoyed Star Fox as well. And that's probably why, like, when you go to my channel or you watch me on Twitch, I'm playing I'm constantly playing Star Citizen, and me playing Gradius and Star Fox really still keeps my hope of being like that ace fighter, dream of being an ace fighter alive in space. So yeah. And then after that, I had a little bit of a stinge in racing for a brief moment. I say brief. And I got hyper into MMOs, fighting games, shooters, so Battlefield. Like I love, and I do want a good Battlefield game, but honestly, the latest couple games really like turned me off. So, and yeah, and I think just a long story short, I pretty much have settled on to mostly MMOs, some shooters, but nothing too like intense anymore, and JRPGs. Yeah.
All good.
But that JRPG or game needs to have a good story. Otherwise, I'm oot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you there.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so right now I am playing Star Citizen just because like I just love chilling and exploring. They have declared it an MMO. Thank you. And I am playing Zenless Zone Zero, which is more of an action JRPG-ish. I think it feels more akin to Dynasty Warriors mixed with Devil May Cry and Bayonetta. To be honest.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see those influences.
Yeah, which I do need to get Dynasty Warriors Origins. And then of course, yeah, I still. Actually, no, I haven't actually turned on Fire Emblem in like a hot moment, so I think I better like finish that for once. So, yeah. Yeah, and the one controversial thing, I cannot get into Monster Hunter. I've tried. I keep buying the games whenever my friends buy it.
Yeah.
You I get that, and you want to know what's really interesting for me concerning it?
Yeah.
So I'm like you. I have a hard time getting into Monster Hunter. There's only one Monster Hunter game I've ever really gotten into remotely, and that's Monster Hunter World. And that's just because I think the game is beautiful. So, however, one of my favorite game series that I genuinely love and I got super addicted to it, God Eater.
Oh my god, yes. I
Oh
played that
yeah.
nonstop and I
So
loved it. And also, by the
now,
way,
Oh yeah.
Alyssa has been, and EternumBlaze can
Yeah.
vouch.
Yeah.
Alyssa has been on #1 waifu status for me
Yes.
for since 2008.
understandable, but tell me how
She is a wife.
come, tell me how come can't get into Monster Hunter, however, can get into God Eater, which is basically emo Monster Hunter anime.
I actually can answer that very readily.
Please, I need to understand this.
The setting.
Mm.
So, Monster Hunter doesn't have much of a narrative. And I think that's why Worlds, I think you connected with a bit more because there was a narrative given.
True.
Yeah, God Eater, yes. If you actually think about it, yeah, God Eater basically is Monster Hunter set in a post-apocalyptic world with a story, with a dystopian story.
Mhm.
Not to mention amazing character design and best waifu. But waifu bias aside,
Yeah.
I believe that like God Eater had that going for it. And unfortunately, like even though it was a really fun game in my opinion, it definitely wasn't doing as well as Monster Hunter because some people just liked because they both had the same thing, hunting monsters in a closed arena. And basically you don't level up through like levels or stats, not well, stats, anything. You basically, yeah, you just craft what you need to do to make yourself more ready to go to take on more powerful monsters. And there's a little bit of skill based in that. And also God Eater as well really did a good job making you, and that was another problem I had with Monster Hunter. I felt very alone because I was not into it as much as my friends. My friends were already in like higher tier hunts, and I can't join them. And if I could,
Um,
I wasn't contributing. Whereas in God Eater, they gave you AI to help you feel like you're fighting alongside these characters that you enjoyed in the story. Also,
That's fair.
canon in lore has the highest friendly fire rate, and she still blasts you to Kingdom Come by accident. Yeah.
oh
Um.
boy.
Yeah. The reason why I actually didn't mention Guide Eater right away is because it's also not a game I really put into needs a remake because they did remake it
I think they did.
recently within the last like 10 years. And then they came out with Guide Eater 2, which I got hyper like really excited for, but they also released a version that included Linka or Rinka, or whatever the anime protagonist. It was after the anime came out. They released his they released like the remaster, the remake of Guide Eater 1. And the anime was really good too. I liked it. There was definitely a few shortcomings, but I really liked it because we actually also saw more of the outside world. Because that's actually the one shortcoming I think with, and I think this has something to do with the limitations at the time with the PSP. It even though they tell you it's like post-apocalyptic, oh my god, post-apocalyptic.
Apocalyptic.
Post-apocalyptic.
Apocalyptic. I can no longer speak anymore. I am so glitched right now.
Oh,
Yeah, post-apocalyptic. It was like the PSP version really, like PSP really didn't sell it to me because they couldn't really do it with the limitations, but the anime and the games that came after that really did sell it.
that
So
is true.
yeah, but I loved the combat system. It was a lot more faster as well. It was a lot more anime, a lot more actiony, and it was a lot more forgiving too. Whereas Monster Hunter, you definitely need to be more collective, you need to be more strategic, and you needed to make sure that you time your moves right, or you get punished like crazy.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Um,
that could be it.
Yeah, I'm gonna add this on top of this. I know this is like terrible, but like in terms of, I actually did buy one Monster Hunter game before. It was the one for, I was either PSP or PS Vita.
Mhm.
And it's the first game where I literally turned it on, played it, and as soon as I got to the actual part where you're supposed to go and do stuff, I just turned it off. I
Yeah.
know
Wow.
that's terrible. Like I never turned it back on. Never.
Yeah.
I literally
I think I
never
know which
played it
one you're
again.
talking about, and the only reason why I even got past like the first area, it was because I was with friends. And then they
I
got
see.
further and further than I did. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I won't be joining you guys. But that's also because maybe I spread myself a little bit too thin with so many other games I was playing at the time. I think like what? Halo, Fire Emblem, getting good at Smash.
Mhm.
It's actually funny. EternumBlaze's deal with Monster Hunter. I had a similar experience with another game that's in this series I'm recently now trying to get back into.
Yeah.
Armored Core.
Ah.
I have actually played one Armored Core game, and that's the one for the PSP. I played it briefly, could not wrap my head around it, put it down, and never played it again. And I still
Mhm.
have that game to this day. But for some reason now I'm trying to get into Armored Core 6.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually did play the Armor Core on the was it? I think it was on PSP.
Mhm.
It was not bad. I liked it. Compared to today, it definitely had limitations, but I liked it. But
I
I don't know why I didn't get really into the franchise. Even Armor Core 6, I played it once and called it done.
mm,
I didn't replay it, but that could be because I'm like I don't have a whole lot of time
yeah.
to get
Fair.
into like another game, so that's why like I'm now just looking for JRPGs that actually have an ending.
Yeah, I think that's one thing about the Armored Core games, and we went off topic a bit, but they feel like there's such an investment because you have to spend time learning the games, getting really good at the games, finding what parts work for you, things like that, and it does strike me as an investment. I have the time, but then again, I have nothing but time these days.
Huh.
I could see why that would probably be an issue for someone who doesn't have a lot of time, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I should honestly just stop playing Star Citizen for like a month because that game doesn't respect your time, but I just can't help
Mhm.
just chill to lo-fi music and just fly.
Mm,
So maybe that's just me. Um,
Just limits, I guess.
yeah.
Limits would be
But
always a good thing.
I'm actually reaching a point where like I've actually been purging gotcha games off my phone for various reasons. One, I have not logged in and do my dailies. Two,
Mhm.
um, your guys are getting dated in some
Yeah.
areas. Or three, I don't have money to catch up.
Yeah,
So
but money is a serious issue right now.
yeah. Yeah, especially with games potentially getting more expensive, and given our current political climate with the tariffs and stuff, hopefully it doesn't hit us too hard. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, it's just that time and money is now like and responsibilities too, now that we've all grown up. It is definitely getting hard.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, so but yeah, I think, you know what, Sandora?
Hmm?
I have the entire God Eater collection on Steam. I am downloading all that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let me. I'm going to start from 1, and then I will play into 2, and close my eyes when I'm playing 3.
Wait, why close your eyes when you play 3?
I don't know. Something about 3 throws me off a bit.
Huh.
Maybe I'll try again.
You know, I have God Eater on my PlayStation 5. I think eventually I'm gonna sit down with that and play that and then get God Eater. I think I actually already have God Eater 2. Yeah, I do. I have both God Eater 1 and 2. I just
I think
haven't
when you
played through
bought
1.
I think when you bought 2, it came with like the remaster of 1.
It
So
probably did, yeah.
yeah. So, and that was one of the
So,
cool things too. So yeah. Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
gonna definitely get back into that at some point.
Also, they need to make a good Gundam game. Like, I am
Yeah,
dying
they
for
do.
a good Gundam game, and the fact the best Gundam game is Armor Core 6. Although Gundam Breaker 4 was not bad.
Haven't played it.
I would give it a shot.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Season Pass is okay. It's not terrible, but yes, there's a Season Pass.
Hmm.
All right. Well, let's move over to one of you two. How did you guys get into gaming?
Who wants to go
Um,
first? You or you want me to go first?
um, well, I guess I would mind going first on this one, or second,
Alright.
I should say. Yeah. So I had a really interesting path to gaming, I guess you could say. For the most part, I was introduced to my first set of video games around the beginning of I guess at the SNES time, NES to SNES time.
Best time, only time.
Around the same time. Yep, as you were WarBot-NIX, and the first game, like the first ever video game I ever saw played, was I don't know. I don't think it was the first one. I think it was like an alternate version of Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Huh.
Oh,
It was
yes, I remember that. I actually
yeah.
think I rented that at one point from Blockbuster.
Yeah. It was. I know the. I think like the character. I was playing it with my cousin. Or more so, my cousin played for the most part. He didn't let me play,
Hmm.
but he was fighting against some kind of clown. It was like I said, it was the same style of fighting as Mike Tyson's Punch Out, but it was like he was fighting against some kind of clown character. And he really just absolutely sucked versus him.
Oof.
Yeah, like I said, it was some kind of, like I said, whichever one it is, some kind of clown character. But that was my first experience with video games. I would say, of course, I eventually ended up seeing about stuff like Pac-Man and stuff like that too. Yeah, I don't think it's part of the original Punch Out games. I think it's like a different side franchise or something like that. But yeah, that was my first experience with games. I think the second experience I had with games was when my cousin played what was this game? It was another old game. Is it something like Zombies Ate My Neighbors or something like that? I think it was called. That was one that was like it was, oh my god, yeah, basically you have to go around and like kill zombies in your neighborhood or something like that. It was another like old classic game. But those were the games that I played where I mostly just sat back and watched my cousin play them, because like my cousin always loved to hog the console. But besides
Oh.
what, it's his console, so you know, I just
Okay, I
sat
was gonna
back and
say,
watched.
did he just bully you your entire childhood?
But no, he was really cool. But I mostly watched him play. But I will say the first gaming experience I had when I was a kid, like from me directly, those were my first experiences. But my first game I actually played ever, um, I can't remember the name of it. It was actually based off of a movie. Um, I think the Angry Video Game Nerd, if you know that character.
Oh yeah.
He actually played. He actually did a review of this game. I think like either a year or two ago. But it was a movie game, and it was like my folks literally just got it. Was for Super Nintendo. And it was a game where a part of it was just you were on an airplane and you're just flying in circles in this particular part of the game. I wish I could remember the name of it. I do not remember, but I do know I found out later. I actually found out later on in life that it was based off of a movie franchise, movie series. But that was like the first video game I played, and mind you, I'm gonna tell you this. I wish I never played that game in my entire life. That
Really?
game
Went
was
Samuel
so
L. Jackson.
terrible.
Get these bleeping snakes on this bleeping blade.
Yes, the game's controls were so terrible.
Oh,
I literally I played it for like, because I was like determined to be good at this game. I was like so incredibly determined to be good at this game. I got so pissed. I played it for 5 hours straight because it was the only thing I had at the time. And after about 5 hours, I got so frustrated. I literally yanked it out of the Super Nintendo console and tossed it into the wall across my room.
I feel sorry for the wall.
It was so bad.
You know what? You know what? Find me this game. I will put it as B-roll during your entire time talking.
Oh yeah.
Because I need to locate this game now. I am very like curious. What is it that earned the ire of EternumBlaze?
Oh yeah. I'm just gonna actually, like I said, I'll send you the clip of him rage, because actually the Angry Video Game Nerd was raging about this game too, about that particular part of the game. Oh my god. I'll send you the clip and I'll link you the exact minute he's showing it. It was terrible, and I was stuck there for 5 hours. So yeah, that was terrible. And so that was my initial experience with playing games on my own. Now, I'll say why don't I hate games was because everything else after that was great.
You survived tutorial.
I survived the tutorial. It was terrible.
No, EternumBlaze didn't survive the tutorial. No, you survived.
What's that?
You survived the wake-up call boss.
Yes.
It's like, we're gonna do a DPS check on you. Can you survive?
Yeah. Oh Lord.
Gotcha.
But that was my first experience with games. I did have some fun games. I got like a few weeks afterward. my folks took me to an old store that some of you guys may remember called Funko Land, like
Oh my
years
god.
ago. Goodness gracious, that place was like a candy store for gamers.
I
Oh
remember
my lord.
Funkoland. What
Yes.
was it? Okay, so if I remember correctly, did Funkoland get bought by GameStop, or were they just part of GameStop the entire time?
I think it got bought by EB Games or whatever that particular game store was. Yeah, EB
Yeah,
Games,
And then
and
they
then eventually EB Games got bought by GameStop.
I think so. Something like that.
and then
Yeah.
GameStop stopped gaming.
Hmm.
I mean, if you walk into GameStop, it's 90% of it is not even games anymore. It's just collectibles and peripherals. Heck,
Yeah.
I sometimes go in there not for games, but just for Gundam model kits sometimes that just randomly show up. Yeah.
Yeah, but those were, like I said, those were the days that I remembered getting like so many, just like, I think it's like my folks got me like maybe one game a month from like the bargain bin or something like that,
To
just
be
randomly.
fair,
Or
that was me, except my folks were not keen on getting me more games.
Hmm.
That was me going off of
yeah.
allowances.
Yeah, same. I was there too.
Yeah.
Like I only played like a few games that were that they had there. Like I said, I know this is gonna like hilarious ones like Beavis and Butthead. Like I played that game. Like that was probably the one I remembered the most, and it was like really frustrating, but I still actually really enjoyed the game. Like all of the games back then were just so hard, but they were fun at the same time. Other than the other one, the story mode one, that one I hated. But other than that, like a lot of them were fun. And eventually, I think like around Christmas time, which it was basically like a little while afterward, I think like the Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1 were like a thing. Um, and that was when I got the first games for those, which I believe was what was it? Parappa the Rapper, actually. An old PS1 classic. Like, goodness gracious. That game was like it's like basically a rhythm-based game, which I'm by the way, I think I've become really big into rhythm games because of that one.
Oh yeah, I
That
was into DDR at one point too.
Oh yeah, yeah. And what was the other one? I'm trying to remember what the other one for Nintendo 64 was. Um I can't remember. Like it might have been the Super Mario 64. Probably that one.
Yeah.
Um
I still regret selling my Nintendo 64. To be
yeah,
honest.
man.
Mine's in storage.
I'll take it.
I wish I still had mine. Something happened to it. I can't remember.
I
Maybe-
sold it for Yu-Gi-Oh money.
But yeah, I ended up playing a lot of games that were like oldie games that like nobody really play. I got a lot of like ones from like I said, like the discount bins, but like games that probably people don't even remember playing. Like, I mean, and actually funny enough, this game I got for PlayStation, I think it was PlayStation 1. I specifically got it because my cousin, which I said, of course, loved to hog the games and stuff like that, never let me play this one. But I knew for some reason, I think I knew that if I played it, I could totally like excel at it. And I did. It was an old school game called Courier Crisis.
I
It's
remember that. I've seen that
Yes.
before. I didn't play it, but I have seen it.
It was like basically the bike version of the Tony Hawk games.
Yes.
Like it was so fun and it was so dumb. It's very similar to like it's the same kind of concept as Crazy Taxi, if you guys have played that.
I remember. Yep.
Very similar concept to that, except bikes. You're riding a bike.
Mhm.
And basically, oh my god, the music was awesome. It was like 90s classic rock band music, indie rock band music. Oh my god, like it was so, like the songs were like so just great for back then. Like it just screamed 90s type game. Like that was another game that I played so much. And by the way, like I said, I totally demolished that game. And you know the one thing that I did that was different than what my cousin did, which was hilarious. I remember.
What's that?
I pressed the break button.
Oh.
He never knew how to just press. I said, I wanted to say it, but he's my older cousin, and he's like, like he's the one who knows all basically. So I couldn't say anything, but I was like, I wanted to say, if you just press the break button, you'll probably be able to stop at that spot that you need to. And he never did that, and I did. And I think I literally beat the entire game in like 2 days.
Wow.
Where he couldn't even get past like the first level. It was
You
hilarious.
should tell him
You know,
to
there's
take a break.
there's nothing worse than that one person who refuses to let you play the game, but they're playing it horribly, and you're just trying to tell them, if you just do this one thing, you'll be able to win. They're like, shut up, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
After listening to your story, it actually made me remember how I started leaving the console gaming and went into more PC gaming. But I'll leave that to after your guys' story though, because I just realized like I left out a huge chunk of like why I love gaming. Yeah.
Okay.
But then again, my memory has not been great either, so
Take your time. But yeah, like I said, that was like kind of my old classic, because those games were just so memorable to me. Like they were so fun. There were kind of games that you went back to play again and again. Of course, I later on played the Tony Hawk games too. Like I was very much into like games that had like that kind of 90s feel.
yeah.
Like those, they just had they had great like rock music and stuff like that, just music to the games that were just like, it really just made you feel like you were in the game world. Like games like those, like classic games that just really got me into it. Of course, I then played, I can go even later on into games like the Tales of series, and
Yeah.
obviously, Final Fantasy 7 and stuff like that, from freaking playing the demo discs from the Pizza Hut one that came with your order. Like, oh my god, it's just so classic. Crash Bandicoot. Oh my god, so good.
This really reminds me, and I think this led to, I don't know if this contributed to me meeting, like becoming like great friends with you, was I remember back in the day in GameStop, the one demo I would constantly not stop playing was Soul Calibur 2. Whenever we went to the mall, all I did was play as Cassandra or Nightmare through like their demo arcade mode.
Yes.
Like,
oh my
for
god.
like over an hour while my parents were just going around shopping. They knew exactly where to find me.
Yeah.
Just yeah. And I think this like fighting games was really big for me until like I think I dropped off after what was the Blaze Blue with S in it?
Goodness.
Not the PS Vita visual novel. Well, the game that she came in as a DLC character.
Yeah. Oh my god. Let me see. I'm trying to think. Calamity Trigger, Continuum Shift.
What is
There were two more.
Yeah.
Chrono Phantasma.
There we go.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that drew a blank for me. Yeah, but
same.
yeah, like I think yeah, aside from like our love for JRPGs, like we also played a lot of fighting games.
Yeah.
But
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Sandora was
Leo
scarily
is a
really
big
good
one.
at the Naruto game.
Yeah.
That was kind of hilarious.
Oh my god, the
She would just
Naruto
beat the
Ultimate
crap out
Ninja
of us.
Storm.
Like, this is your first day, right?
Yes, I remember that.
Like,
I
how
was
are you
like,
winning?
how are you so good?
Like, how are you
so
beating my
good at this?
Shikamaru? My Shikamaru is impregnable.
I
don't.
remember that.
Yeah, I
How are you so
vaguely
good at
remember
this?
that, and yeah, that was my very first time playing the game.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Technically, I don't know. Was this the last like Blaze Blue game? The Blaze Blue crossover game with Ruby?
Yeah, that was the basically the crossover game. Yeah.
With Ruby and also Persona 4 Reload.
From the
I mean, Persona
4
4 Arena, rather.
arena, yeah.
Yeah, Persona 4 Arena is still one of my favorite games. The music was
Oh
top
yeah.
notch, and it was canon.
Seriously.
I
Yeah.
think that was like the most important part. It was canon.
The fact that it's canon to Persona 4 still messes with my brain.
Yeah. Also, I do actually want to ask you guys. I know we're just constantly meandering, but then again, this is the whole point of today. Is it true that they changed up the voice actors for Persona 3 Reloaded?
Yeah, they did.
Oh yeah,
I did not
yeah.
know that. Like,
yeah, yeah. Like I will say they did a really good job with I think it was Junpei's voice actor. They were really similar actually. Yeah. Like I
Okay.
hardly tell.
All the new voice actors did a phenomenal job, and this is even though they replaced Akihiko's voice actor,
Oh
and
yeah.
he's my favorite voice actor of male
Yeah.
voice actor of all time, Liam
Right.
O'Brien. But
Yes.
the new guy does a very good job. I didn't miss Liam O'Brien, but so much.
Okay.
Mm.
Because I only grew up with the ones from the original game and into, of course, the fighting games too when they came back. So, yeah, I actually did not like. I haven't picked up the new Persona 3 Reloaded game yet, but I did not know this, and apparently I only found out because one of my friends says that they don't want to play it because it's not the original voice actors. And I'm like, oh. So,
I'm just gonna say right now, it may not be the original voice actors, but they do a great job with the characters.
yeah.
From the little bits I've seen, I haven't seen much, but yeah, they did really good from what I saw.
Okay. Yeah. So, all right, like that scared me for a second because I haven't played the game yet. So yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
what part of the life are you at, EternumBlaze? I'm so sorry.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, it was so yeah, like I said, I really got into playing a lot of the 90s games. That was when I really got into playing, like I said, mostly just action games where you're just like immersed in the games themselves. But I would say the point where I had the biggest game, like the game that had the most influence on me as a kid, that truly, like, I would say until this point I wasn't truly a gamer, like where I really embraced video games. But when I first heard the song Simple and Clean from Kingdom Hearts 1, that moment when I saw the first TV trailer for that game, When You Walk Away, and I'm not going to sing the song, but when I saw that first trailer of that game, my eyes widened, and it was like, this is a game? This is what games are? Holy crud. Like,
Damn.
that was the moment. Seeing that first trailer for Kingdom Hearts 1 was what opened my eyes to what games had the potential to be. That was the moment where I truly became a gamer.
I have a similar story on my end, but I will get
Yeah.
to that eventually.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I could go on and talk about like a million other games, but that if like I said, just what got me into games, like lots of action games and rhythm games initially. Like I said, games where you were doing stuff. But once I found out about what RPGs were, like I said, what RPG could be and what a video game could be, the fantasy element of it, from like I said, like Kingdom Hearts and playing through that game. By the way, that's the first video game I ever played where at the end of it, I legit started crying with how beautiful the story was to me. Like how I was like sad. I was both happy I played it, but I was sad that it was over at the same time. Like it was like I think I was supposed to play that game for like goodness, I think like 60 hours. Like I played like all the way up to level like 90 and stuff like that. Probably not the most optimally, of course, but like my god, it was just such an amazing experience getting to see the RPG elements, Disney characters, all the stuff that I grew up with as a kid, now in the form, like I said, movies too, but
I
all of that in the form of this amazing experience in RPG games. And that ever since then, I've been a huge fan of RPG games. And of course, the Persona series is now, I would say, the successor to what I feel, that same feel I feel when I play the Persona games. It's the feeling of wonder, of fantasy. Like
It's funny you mention that
that's the
too, because
feel.
I watched a video a while back that mentioned a lot of the themes in Kingdom Hearts
Yeah.
are actually similar to the themes in Persona, and this one YouTuber actually even said that she did not understand Kingdom Hearts at all until she played Persona 4.
Oh
I
wow.
think they
Persona
drew
4 was
on
my first Persona game.
I think they drew on similar concept with Carl Jung
They
with
did.
Yeah.
the persona, and the shadows.
They
A
did,
lot.
because if you
Yeah.
look at everything pertaining to Riku's story and how he has to accept his darkness,
Yeah.
it is. I mean, it's portrayed a bit differently, but it has similar themes to someone accepting their shadow, accepting the parts of them that they may not like as a part of them, and using that to benefit themselves as opposed to pushing it away.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Um and this is the part I feel terrible about because I can't okay, I'm about to lose my gamer card for like an hour. I own all the games now for um Kingdom Hearts. I have not started any of them.
Bro.
WarBot-NIX,
I have forgive me for I have sinned.
give me your
Bro.
gamer card.
Take
You'll
that
get
from
it
me, good
back.
sir.
Hold on, hold on.
You'll
Which
get it
one?
back
I
at
have.
the end of
You
the
can have my
day.
racing gamer card. How's that one? I don't even use it.
Mm,
You're
no,
missing out,
no,
man.
no. You need to give me the JRPG gaming card. I'll
No,
give it back to you.
I
You're
swear
missing out,
I'll go back to
dude.
play.
You're so
I still
missing
need
out.
it. I still needed to play Final Fantasy VII remake. Give it back.
All right, tell you what.
Tisk tisk.
I won't take your JRPG gamer card if you get to playing Final Fantasy VII Remake and Metaphor ReFantasio.
I'll get to that when I have time. I swear. I just need to stop playing online games that don't have an ending.
Excuses, excuses.
Okay, but to be fair though, the reason why I actually technically own them all, plus a couple others, like plus a couple others, you know those remastered like packages, like they combined all like a bunch of games. They had a bunch of collections of them, like for PlayStation 3 and 4.
Mhm.
I was collecting those for the Disney pins.
Mm.
Those were official Disney pins. I used to
Hmm.
be into collecting Disney pins. So,
Cool.
win-win. Okay, still technically a win-lose for me because I did not start any of them on my PlayStation 3.
Yeah, I'm still going.
Ouch.
I'm looking through my books right now, thinking of a curse to put you under.
Wait a minute. I may have glitched out just now.
Maybe a little, maybe a little, maybe a little.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, yeah, that's the end of my. Like I said, because just what got me into games. I'm not gonna go into
Yeah.
like everything, but yeah, those were all of my biggest experiences coming up. And like I said, Kingdom Hearts and Persona, as of late, have been the games that have truly opened my eyes to gaming. Overall from my journey. So yeah.
I think like a lot of people can relate to that. And for me, the more I listen to your story, the more I realize like my story feels kind of a degradation of my gaming.
We all start somewhere. It's all
Well,
right.
no, like I just realized like where I've ended up with gaming. So, but let's go ahead and hit Sandora before we run out of time. So,
yeah.
So,
all right.
Where does your story begin?
Tell us your journey.
My story begins with my dad, actually.
Oh. From my cousin to your dad.
See, and this is actually really special that I'm telling this story because my dad, he's been having some health problems. I won't go into detail. But this is one of the biggest reasons why I truly appreciate him is he was very pivotal in me finding my passion for gaming. So initially, he was the one who owned the video game consoles. We had a Super Nintendo, and when I was really little, he would give me he would always give me the Player 2 controller when he was playing like a single player game, and would let me like push the buttons to pretend like I was playing the game.
That's adorable.
I actually remember that I knew that my controller didn't work, but I kind of pretended to be like his navigator, like helping him go through certain areas.
I feel like that is like a magic we've completely lost with today's
games.
Like,
Yeah.
And just off of that, and this is actually something I encouraged when I actually did teach like STEM to kids grades 2 through 8. And I've actually had parents like ask me like what are the best ways to communicate with their kids and help with limiting their games. Guess what I tell them?
What's that?
Play with them. So not only do you know what your kids are playing, because a lot of parents are like, I'm afraid of what my kids are playing, then play with them.
Yeah.
Like as much as we give Nintendo praise and hate or mix of for what they do and how they do things, the one thing they still do encourage in a lot of their mainline titles is playing together on the same console, on the couch, and on the screen. And like
I would like to play.
Yeah, like the best thing to do is to learn what your kids are getting into, and also a form of controlling, playtime, and also like getting to connect with your kid is play Mario Kart together, play a multiplayer game together that encourages you guys to work together. There are so many games that do that, and that's actually one of the things I think all of us, all three of us, that we forgot to mention about Tales of Games, that we could, sure, one person controlled Lloyd, but another person can control Genus, another person can control Colette. Like, that game, even though it technically was almost single player, had 4-player co-op from the same console.
Which we'll get
Oh, yeah.
to Tales of Symphonia in my story.
Yeah, but continue
yeah.
though. Like, yeah, that is a magic that is very, very
It
hard to come
really
by.
is. It really
Multiplayer
is.
RPG. Man.
Yeah.
So eventually he let me start to play games on my own. I got curious, and it took a while. I remember the very first game I ever played that I actually beat, which I didn't beat on my own, was Super Mario World.
Oh.
And that one was very hard. Again, I needed help with it, and I remember I was so happy I burst into tears. I was still
Wow.
really young at the time when I played the game, so so after a while, he started just getting games for me, because I was the one who was playing the Super Nintendo more than anything. So he would get games. He still would play games a little bit here and there, but he kind of lost interest in the Super Nintendo. So he would get me games for the Super Nintendo, which I enjoyed. However, the very first game system I would say that was truly mine, which ironically he ended up getting games for himself with that because he really liked it, was the Sony PlayStation.
Mm.
And the very first game I ever got for it that I played to absolute hell and back was Mega Man Legend.
Mega Man Legend.
I hear you sing praises of that game back in the day.
It
To
is
this
so good.
to this day, that is still my favorite video game of all time.
It's so good. It's
It
so
is,
good.
and I remember, and you see, this was actually the first game that got me interested in storytelling, because I remember I played through the game, and you have to understand, I was only about maybe like 7 or 8 when I played Mega Man Legends for the first time, so I didn't really understand all of the nuances of the story, but I liked it. I liked how upbeat it was. I liked the Saturday morning cartoon feel of the game. I liked the voice acting. And I was like really into the game. So once I got to the end of the game, towards the end of the game, however, and I remember I started noticing a tone shift, and I remember my heart was racing once I opened up the main gate and I went into like the underground sub cities, and I was like, wait, what is this? Because it's like you see the city underground and there's like a sky above you, even though you're underground, it's like a night sky with like planets and a visible moon, and it's infested with Reaver-bots. And
Huh.
they never explain what this place is. They never explain the nuances of it, and I love that.
That game, honestly, that I played that game too, and when I played it, it was like one of the few times that I literally just felt scared to even
Yeah,
proceed
you
forward.
remember exactly. You remember when you got to the sub, because that's how I was. I got to the subsidies, and something about the presentation, just the music, the environment, and seeing all of these Reaver-bots walking around, you just get this sense that this is something you were never supposed to know about.
Yeah.
I've never played these gems. I'm so sorry.
It's I'll punish you for it later. Anyway,
Okay, I did play some of the NT Warrior stuff. Okay.
fair enough. Though I'm going to have to punish you for calling it NT Warrior when it's actually called Battle Network. But we will. But I'll give you a spanking later.
Oh, boy.
So, anyway, Mega Man Juno, however, that scared the absolute. That's okay. I want to say how I really feel, but okay. How kid friendly is this? Is this stream or WarBot-NIX?
I'm gonna say 13 plus, maybe.
Okay, so I can avoid.
Maybe 16 plus. But honestly, like, this is not this. So just going for it, this podcast is not going to be marked for kids, so it's not even going to appear in like the YouTube for kids section anyway.
Okay, good. Okay,
So
good.
if
I can.
if a high schooler or a middle schooler comes across it, hi guys, by the way.
Hi.
Yeah. Try out some
Okay.
retro games.
So I can speak freely.
Yes.
Mega Man Juno scared the fucking shit out of me.
I think that's our. How many times have we cursed yet in this
I
podcast?
I think that's the second one. The other one was also from me. I just accidentally said the F word once.
Okay, then we're fine. As long as we don't like curse within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's
And
how
plus,
it works.
I doubt this podcast is going to get like monetized anyway because
Yeah.
it's our second one. So,
But
oh well.
yeah, so yeah, I was scared of Mega Man Juno.
Yeah, me too.
There was just something about how clinical he talked about everything. And the thing that I loved about that scene, like looking back on it, is the fact that if you don't understand what Juno is saying, that's perfectly fine because they actually clarify it 2 times. Because he talks about how he's going to reinitialize the island. So you may not understand what that means, but then you see Mega Man's reaction and you realize, okay, this is really bad. And if you don't get it after that, it then cuts to the Bonds, Teasel and Tron, who are listening to this, and they're like, Teasel, did you hear that? And Teasel quite literally says, yep. And I don't think he's kidding either. I think he really plans to kill everyone on the island.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love how they do that. So, and
If
see,
you're a kid, not who doesn't know better.
and it was perfect. And the other thing that makes it great too is the fact that if you don't understand what's being said, that's perfectly fine because Mega Man doesn't know either. He doesn't understand. So you still feel like you're connected to Mega Man because even he's like, okay, I have no idea what you've been saying,
A lot of
but
complicated words.
when you say reinitialize, you don't mean no. And I'm gonna gush. I'm sorry.
Go for it.
So
Go for it.
Actually, I
You-
think you raised your voice to such a high pitch. Your microphone was like, nope.
yeah, sorry. So anyway, that showed me that video game stories can be taken seriously. However, it wasn't until much later on in life that I truly got into JRPGs like I am now, where much as I love Mega Man Legends, JRPGs are my favorite genre of games, and I actually owe Tales of Symphonia to that, and there's a really funny story about how I got Tales of Symphonia for the first time.
Mm.
So, WarBot-NIX, you mentioned this once before,
Uh-huh.
but kids, back in our day, there was this store called Blockbusters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So at first the Blockbuster card, the membership card that was with my dad, of course. You'll see you're seeing a pattern here that he, again, like I said, he was very pivotal to my love for gaming. However, eventually, since I was the one who was mostly renting games, he gave me the membership card on the condition that I was at least responsible with it and that I, you know, ask permission before going to rent games, which of course I always did because I didn't want to breach his trust.
Mm.
So I had a number of games that I would rent from Blockbusters. A couple of the usual ones. There was this one. I remember seeing the box for this one game that was never available, Tales of Symphonia.
My
And
bad.
you're not helping your case at all.
Actually,
I have a whole list of curses lined up just for you.
yeah. Although, to be fair, though, I think it was OMG.
Hmm.
I just realized my copy of Tales of... No, never mind. Never mind. Okay. I had to, like, double think. Like, I remember I borrowed my Tales of Symphonia copy from a friend and did not give it back for, like, over 4 years and finally did because I acquired my own. I had to double check with myself, like, did I give it back to him? Yes, I did.
Oh,
So
hold on. Just WarBot-NIX.
Yeah.
I think there's something going on where it says stream paused.
Yeah. That's actually my bad. I mean, there's nothing for us to see anyway, so don't worry about it.
Okay,
I'm
I just
gonna
wanted
stop it
to make sure
anyway.
that was okay.
Yeah. There we go.
all right.
All right. Hold on. 1 minute 32. Let me just write that down. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So like I said, this game, it was never available, and I remember I looked at the box and I was just kind of like, this game doesn't look that interesting. I mean, the box art on the front, it just showed a few of the main characters on the front, and I remember the back of the box, it didn't look all that impressive. Also,
Now that I think about it, yeah, it actually didn't have a very impressive box art.
it really didn't. And also, I was a dumb kid, so I didn't actually read the back of the box. So I was thinking it was a turn-based ARPG, even though it says right on the back of the box, real-time action.
To be fair, marketing back then like was all about like action, like I think that's when
Yeah,
also like I think that's also from like the era of like games got a little bit like 3 steps up now in terms of like interactability.
yeah.
Yeah.
So for a while, I just passed the game over. I never looked at I mean, I was curious about it, but it was never available. And again, it looked boring. So whatever. So one day, I was going to Blockbuster to rent a game for the weekend. Um, I figured, I think I was going to rent Sonic Heroes, I believe.
Sonic Heroes.
Definitely worth picking up again with the new Sonic movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I've actually been listening to a lot lately,
Mm-hmm.
and I really wish they added it to the movie.
Mhm.
Live and Learn.
Oh my
Oh
god.
yeah.
Seriously.
Like
Oh yeah,
Crush
don't tell me.
40.
I still haven't gotten a chance to see the movie though, so no spoilers.
I'm not gonna spoil it at all. In fact,
Okay.
like I want you to watch it, and I really wish we could watch it together.
Mhm.
Um, because like it is one of those it's one of the best movies to like watch together.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I was gonna rent Sonic Heroes, and it wasn't available.
hmm
I looked on this, so I figured, okay, I'll just go to one of my backup games and one of the other games I said I want to rent, and it wasn't available. None of the
Hmm.
usual games I was going to rent were available.
I'm gonna just tell you this in advance. If you were going to a Blockbuster where you were trying to get Star Fox 64, I like always rented that, and I apologize.
Actually, you know what? I don't think it was Sonic Heroes. I think it was Star Fox Assault that I wanted to rent.
My bad.
Okay, so that's a curse for EternumBlaze as well.
Don't curse me.
Okay.
So none of the games that I wanted to rent were available, but then I looked and I walked past Tales of Symphonia, and guess what?
Mm.
It was available. So so I figure again, it doesn't look that interesting, but all right, I'll give it a shot. I'll probably like play it over the weekend, and then it'll collect dust or whatever. So, and I remember I was walking back to my apartment, and I was disappointed. I was not enthusiastic about this choice at all.
Uh,
To be
I
fair, I had my own share of skepticism when my
Mhm,
friend like lent me his copy.
exactly. And I imagine it was the way your opinion changed was the same as mine. So I put it in the system, and I see that opening cinematic with the epic bombastic music, and I remember I went from super disinterested to eyes wide, leaning forward, looking at the screen like, "What is this?"
that sounds kind of like how I was with Kingdom Hearts.
Actually, to be fair, Tales of Phonia's opening didn't really get me as much. However, the next Tales of game I played, Tales of the
Mhm.
Abyss, had a banger opening
Yeah, it was.
by Bump of Chicken, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that was really good.
so I was hooked. I was hooked with Tales of Symphonia. The combat system blew me away once I realized it wasn't turn-based, but real-time combat with AI partners that actually were smart.
Mhm.
I have something to ask you after you finish this part.
Okay, we'll get to that.
hmm
But I so yeah, I was amazed by the game, but the thing that really got to me about it was the storytelling. And there's one part early on that I'm going to spoil this. I'm going to spoil a major part of Tales of Symphonia here, but it's not like the big plot twist. But to really illustrate what it was about this game that really got to me. So part of the game is told through you know the skits and Tales of, right?
Oh yeah, classic. Like
Mhm.
half the enjoyability was those like, especially when they were like fully voiced skits.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now Tales of Symphonia skits, sadly, they weren't voiced.
hmm
But that's okay. I watched every single one of them, and I loved the voices, so I just played those in my head. Sometimes I would even try and speak the skits out loud. I remember I remember you go through you clear the fire temple, and I remember I used the cooking mechanic a few times in battles after battles after the fire temple, and a skit would pop up randomly that would mention that Colette wasn't eating or that her appetite had changed. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Huh. Then you clear the next temple, the water temple, and go to sleep in an inn. And I see a skit that mentioned that Colette was having trouble sleeping. Like, oh, she must be nervous about her adventure.
I
Then
remember.
you clear the wind temple. And suddenly you find out that Colette has lost the ability to feel physical sensation.
Let me just say that one was the one that got me the most.
Same.
Like
Same.
as soon as like that scene, again, spoilers, where I think Lloyd gave her the hot cup of like coffee and then
Yeah.
said, "Oh yeah, careful, it's hot." She's like, "Oh yeah, it's hot." And he was like, "No, it's actually cold." "Oh, it's so cold." "No, it actually is hot." And she just dropped it. It's just like, you have been caught.
Yeah.
That was some big brain thinking.
That was the moment where I was like, yeah, like it's over. You can't hide
And
anymore.
and you see, the thing that got to me about that too was
Yeah.
when she mentioned what was happening to her with the other temples and how after she cleared the fire temple, she lost the ability to taste food.
Yeah.
Then after you cleared the water temple, she lost the ability to sleep. I felt so guilty because I remembered all the skits I saw. I was like, oh my goodness. The
She was
game was
hiding.
telling me the entire time. And
She
I
was
had
hiding it the whole time.
Yep.
I
Well, they
and I felt I was so that I felt so immersed, and I did not
Yeah.
know that games could tell a story that in depth. And ever since then, especially with the later plot twists, like right at like a little bit after that, which I am not going to mention here, Plague Tales of Symphonia. That was when I got really interested in JRPGs because at that moment I realized games can tell stories that you can take seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I had
Yep.
never been invested in a game's story before in my entire before that. And after I beat Tales of Symphonia, I began looking for other JRPGs to give me that same feeling. And I can actually tell you, it wasn't until I played Persona 4
Mm.
that I got that same feeling, which thank you, by the way, EternumBlaze. You were the one that got me into Persona.
No problem.
Yeah. I actually feel bad because technically I really didn't start my Persona journey until Persona 4 Golden. Then I had to go back and play Persona 3 and then go play the fighting games.
That's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
that's still it still gave you all of the concept of the game. Like
Yeah.
there wasn't
But
really that much of a difference between
no,
the
but
Persona 3
the thing
and
is, like Persona 4 Golden had a much more refined combat system, whereas 3 felt janky. And I feel like that really
yeah.
took away from my
You
enjoyment.
see, it's really weird for me because I had a similar experience. The first one I ever played was Persona 4, and then I went back and played Persona 3, and yeah, it was janky, but I found myself really liking Persona 3, and to this day, that one is still my favorite entry in the entire series.
Oh yeah, I mean it still
Definitely.
had more like more similarities to Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean that makes sense. But the thing I
Now,
do before we leave the Tales of Symphonia conversation,
yeah, because you were going to ask me a question, weren't you?
yes. Were you like me very put off by the fact that this entire time that we loved Tales of Symphonia, we were not given the full game?
Oh.
Mm.
Because my hint was that why couldn't I move across the entire 3D plane? Because you could only move forward and back, and the only time you were able to like move side to side was if you actually got knocked over that way.
Hmm.
And then I did digging and found that in Japan they released a more complete version on the PlayStation 2 that came with more costumes, more side quests, and more hyogis, like special attacks.
Yep.
And we had the ability to move left, right, and center.
You
Yeah.
see,
See,
I will admit. Oh, I'm sorry I cut you off there, EternumBlaze.
no problem. Yeah.
But I'll admit I was a little put off, but at the same time, I enjoyed what I had with Tales of Symphonia so much that it didn't bother me too much that I didn't have the whole game. Because what
Yeah.
I had was so fun.
I kind of feel the same way too about that. Like there was at the very least we did get, the majority of the story. I mean I think pretty much all of the story. The only thing
Yeah,
we
we
didn't
got the
get,
entire core story. It's just we did miss
yeah,
out on some side quests.
and secret
So,
bosses.
and secret bosses, which honestly weren't really like core to the story, but added to the world building that, would have been nice.
I can
Yeah.
agree though. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Um is there anything else, Sandora, to your beginnings?
Not really.
All
I can't
right.
really think. The only other thing I'll really mention that's I guess worth note is the fact that I did become a Sonic fan later on in life, but I apparently became a Sonic fan way too late because my very first Sonic game was Sonic Adventure on the Sega Dreamcast. And then this was like a little bit before they went third party and all the Sonic games kind of went downhill for a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To say the least.
But
I
but yeah, I ended up becoming quite the Sonic fan at around that time as well. Never and I'll admit my opinion on the Sonic games is a little iffy because I actually really liked Sonic Heroes like a lot.
Mhm.
A lot, and some people they didn't really care for that one. And I also don't mind the Werehog in Sonic Unleashed. And I
Quite a
like
few.
Sonic
forgot
and the Black
about
Knight.
I forgot how people did not like that.
I
You went
also like
from going fast to going brawl.
Yeah. Gotta go slow. Sorry.
Gotta go swole.
But you see the thing about it that people didn't understand, or at least people weren't taking into account, is this is the theme of the game. It's like
It is.
you're annoyed you can't go very fast. You're annoyed about the change in movement. Guess what? Sonic feels the same way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but it still comes down to overall enjoyment. So, like, if people
Yeah,
really did not like it, then that's fine. I mean,
that's fair.
just wait for the next Sonic game. Yeah, and I think I want to like just take the last couple minutes just to quickly like fill in some of the links. And I just realized like hearing all your stories, like I literally realized like where I feel like I may have found a reason, like where the reason is that like I lost a lot of like ability to play these gems that you guys talk about.
Hmm.
Um, Online gaming. I got addicted to MMOs. I don't know if you guys remember, like I used to play Ion day in, day out. I used to play Guns the Duel. I used to play Flife. I used to play an MMO all the time, but it was always Ion and all that. And then of course Division 2, Division 1, Division 2 out of university. And I realized that like I missed out on a lot of opportunity because I played these online games. And I realized that like I got into some really bad habits and I still have them. Because a lot of them were the beginnings of massive constant microtransactions. Guns the Duel was almost pay to win. Actually, it was pay to win. Because all the best guns were paid with money. And then S4 League. Okay, S4 League, I will give an out because it started off not pay to win, and then it became pay to win. But that also had some of the best hypest music ever for an arena shooter. Like Persona levels of hype.
Mhm.
Yeah. Show me your S4! Yeah, I gotta like show you that music later down the road. I could probably play a little bit in the background while I'm talking about this. But even today, like I realized, like I just realized why my backlog is so high. I still haven't finished the latest Neptunia game after I put it on the back burner many years ago. The reason why I haven't finished Final Fantasy, like I'm behind on schedule for Final Fantasy VII, is because I'm constantly playing online games. So, and now I'm like looking at my, and I just saw a notification. It's like Evelyn's story agent video is available. Like, so I think online gaming really murdered it. But I think that's also not a terrible thing too, because there's one thing I can get is that I love online MMOs because I'm constantly playing with other people that are trying to do the same goals. Ion, I met some of the greatest people, and I honestly regret some of the people that I may have hurt by accident due to my own stupidity. But that's drama here and there. So all you guys in Royal Flush up in Ion, in Israfel server, if any of you guys find me, hi. Yeah. And also I got addicted to just a lot of those online games. Just because like, and even today Final Fantasy 14, like the things like classic MMOs are hard to get into now because time, money, and also sustainability. But I'm glad that there are some people trying to keep an MMO going. So hopefully that genre doesn't become completely toxic wastes of microtransactions. So, but yeah, but honestly, like you guys talking about your beginnings, and I just more and more realize like I could have been playing that game instead of Battlefield 4 I could have been playing this game instead of Ion. I could have been playing this game instead of Helldivers and Star Citizen.
Well,
Yeah.
in your defense, Helldivers is not a bad game at all. I actually would like to get back to Helldivers 2 myself if I had more time.
Wait, you actually play
Definitely.
Helldivers?
Yeah, well, not the first one, but I have played Helldivers 2.
We need a drop for democracy now. You, EternumBlaze, get in the pod! I don't care if you're level 1, we're dropping in level 9.
Oh god. I do have the game. I just, like I said, just haven't had time to play it.
How
You
is
know,
that possible? You don't have...
you've realized that people are good Helldivers are dying right now, fighting for democracy, and you're saying you don't have the time?
I'm sorry. The bugs scare me.
I
The
mean,
bots. The bots.
you mentioned you love to play the My Neighbors Are Zombies, right?
Just
Well,
think of them as big giant zombies.
No, they introduced zombies. The
Oh,
Illuminate
yeah.
invaded a couple months back in November,
Mhm.
and literally people were saying that it's like a combination of Call of Duty zombies mixed with a couple other things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And War of the Worlds.
So yeah, join the draft today, EternumBlaze.
Honestly, like, I've actually seen people like below level 20 join in like Helldiver like difficulty, so it's you will contribute one way or another.
You will
So,
yeah,
yeah.
you can contribute easily.
you will contribute. It's not a choice.
You
I
will
mean-
fight for managed democracy.
I mean, you have the choice to obey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that or die.
All
course, there's a
right. I know I should have said this earlier, but if any of you guys have survived the podcast at this point, thank you so much. We are reaching the 2-hour mark, and I do want you guys, if able, drop a comment below. What game you want to see like become a remake, and also, tell us where you guys come from gaming and where you are now. Are you guys still gaming, or did life hit you and you're unable to game, or it got too expensive? To be fair, I won't blame you.
And also, what's your favorite game?
Oh yeah, definitely your favorite.
That is probably the hardest question for me, because I feel like I would need to like put like a sort of like, what's my favorite game in this genre at this point, because I've played way too many games.
Yeah, top three favorites.
All right, top three. All right. Top 3 games.
Oh, well, we'll leave that for the.
Okay, fine. I was gonna say, it's like,
We'll leave that for the audience.
you're gonna give me like a hot minute. I'm gonna have to say, let's just say this: amongst us 3, can we just say Tales of Symphonia is in the top 3 or top 5?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'd say
Like,
at
I feel
least
like that is the
top
one
five.
game that connected us.
Yeah, that game was
Yeah.
so iconic. Mhm.
Yep. All right. Well, let's gonna go ahead and end it there. So as we talked about our beginnings, if next podcast that is also a slow news cycle, we'll just go and we'll just talk about like where we are now in terms of gaming. But for now, though, you can we'll drop all our links down below. But just a brief, quickly thing: if this is the first time you've seen this podcast, you can find me on Twitch and YouTube. So it's twitch.tv/WarBot-NIX. And if you found this on YouTube, it is just look up WarBot-NIX or Admiral WarBot-NIX. You should be able to find me. You can also do @WarBot-NIX. You should find it there through the YouTube search. But I'm too sure. But please like, subscribe. We are not taking donations as of yet, but just liking, subscribing, and just lurking while listening to us definitely helps us out. And do share this podcast if you do like some nice little chats in the background. But let's do EternumBlaze this time. Where can they find you on the internet?
Yep. You can find me on twitch.tv/EternumBlaze. And my YouTube channel is just at EternumBlaze, Eternum _Blaze. Or I think it just probably just comes as EternumBlaze. So those are going to be my 2 places you'll find me.
All right, Sandora.
Well, I'm not on Twitch or YouTube yet, but I am a fan fiction writer, and you can find my works mainly on fimfiction.net under the username Azure Sandora. I also do plan on moving to Archive of Our Own. There, I go by the username Genius Gamer Azure Sky.
Nice. Oh, that reminds me. I am so sorry we're going off topic again. Do you have a copy of that opening of Tales of Graces mixed with My Little Pony that I made a while back? I can't find it anymore.
I do still have that,
Okay,
actually.
send that video because that is still one of my favorite videos I made.
Yeah,
this
it's
day.
actually watching it honestly makes me want to get back to writing that story, which it would be very difficult for me to get back into it because it's such a difficult story just in terms of formatting. But yeah, I'll send that to you. Pretty sure I know where that is. Yeah, I'll track that down and send that to you.
Yeah, now you really brought me back to I tried to start my own Persona 4 fanfic, Persona negative channel, if anyone remembers that one.
I vaguely remember you mentioning that. Yeah,
but
Yeah.
I won't get into that. But awesome. Yeah. So yep. We will be back in 2 weeks. This is a bi-weekly podcast. Usually I try to aim to release this on Wednesdays, sometimes Thursdays if things get pushed back. But this release will be a very special one. We are going to be releasing episode 1 along with episode 2 because I do need to make some alterations to episode 1. So a lot of the news in episode 1 will probably be outdated by now. But hey, at least you'll hear our take and reactions to the Switch 2 release. And everybody, please stay safe, and we look to see you, and hopefully you guys enjoy this talk. We hope to see you next time on Start Select.
Good night.
And we're about to disconnect.
see you
Till
in
we
your
connect again.
nightmares.
All right.
Laters.
Just stop cursing for future audiences.
I'll think about it.
Bye.